Good evening. It is Friday, July 17th, 7:25 p.m. My wife's having a girls' night, so I'm going to play NBA 2K, and I'm going to do a classic matchup. Celtics Knicks, but it's from 1998. Ugh. This is one of the worst Celtics teams in history. Um, they did not have a good team. This Knicks team was pretty good. They made the playoffs. They had an aging Patrick Ewing, an aging Larry Johnson, a young Allen Houston, though, and an aging Charles Oakley and an aging John Starks, but they were still good. The Celtics team, well, this was the year Larry Bird was not walking through that door. Speech happened. This team was really bad. Look at the starters. Rookies, Chauncey Billups and Ron Mercer are the starting guards. Walter McCarty at small forward. Antoine Walker, who had a very good year on this team. And Andrew DeClercq at center. For the Knicks, Charlie Ward, Allen Houston in the backcourt. Larry Johnson playing a large small forward with Charles Oakley. And there's Rick Pitino, as you see. And, of course, Patrick Ewing, the man in the middle. I'm a little worried about this matchup. I feel like the Celtics team is pretty bad. So let's see what happens. We're going to rely a lot on Antoine Walker. The next year, they drafted Paul Pierce, and their fortunes began to change a little bit, but not overnight. They really didn't change until they traded for Kevin Garnett. They traded the 5th overall pick of that draft, which turned out to be Jeff Green. Billups all the way, and this was the younger Chauncey. He could get up a little bit back then, believe it or not. Decent dunker. He just wasn't a point guard yet. He was more of a combo guard. Oh, Charles Oakley blocked by Twan. Twan had definitely up to that point, his best season of his career. Walker with the rebound. Here comes Mercer. Right at Ewing, and Ron Mercer gets the foul. Ron Mercer, a one-dimensional player, but he could score. Luckily, that was his one dimension. Rick Pitino came here and coached him. He coached him at Kentucky as well. Mercer, a good free throw shooter. Misses one, makes the second. Boston leading 3-0. Here's Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy winner of 1993, who said if he wasn't a first-round pick, he would enter the NBA draft. And that's what he did. He was not a first-round pick. In fact, he didn't get drafted. But a lot of people thought at the time that was because he wasn't going to play. Ron Mercer scores. He will not shy about shooting it. Mercer's one of those guys, in retrospect, you look at his stats, he has like a 16 point per game average for his career, and you're like, how is he so quickly out of the league? He just didn't do anything else. Uh-oh. Trying to get the foul on Ewing. DeClercq gets it to go, though. Andrew DeClercq, the journeyman backup center who started for this team. An undersized center at that. Foul there on Walter McCarty, the former Knick. The year before was drafted by the Knicks. Ended up being a pretty good role-playing small forward, power forward combo. Decent shooter and a great singer, by the way. Walter McCarty had a very good singing voice. Sang the national anthem several times for the Knicks and the Celtics. Charlie Ward gets the foul there. So here's Charlie, one of my favorite college football players of all time. Played for Florida State. I always thought it was interesting he didn't wear 17 as a pro. Although actually I think he did later in his career, now that I say that. Billups working it with Twan. Billups blows by to the rim. Chauncey Billups. He was the 3rd overall pick that year after Tim Duncan and Keith Van Horn. And you hear those 3 names and you're like, that must have been a pretty good draft. And that was about all that was in it. Not a very good draft. There's another player way down the list. I can't remember who it is right now off the top of my head. But, I don't want to. Oh, here we go. Antoine Walker. Billups scores! Foul. Chauncey with 6 points. He averaged 12 a game that year as a rookie. Halfway through the year, he was traded to the Toronto Raptors for Kenny Anderson. Multiple players went in that deal. D. Brown went in that deal as well. Billups really wouldn't come into his own, though, until he played his final year with Denver and really his first year with Minnesota. Playing shooting guard, actually, for those teams. Walker misses. Billups. Nice play. Oh! Dang. Haven't seen much of Allen Houston yet. Ewing. Larry Johnson on the block against his former teammate Walter McCarty. I can't remember how McCarty ended up being on this Celtics team. Larry Johnson. Houston's going to have to force it over Walker. Oakley. Ah, crap. Blocked by DeClerc. Ewing puts it back in, though, over the 6'10 DeClerc. I mean, if Oakley isn't going to cover Billups, he's going to smoke him. Billups with 9 of the Celtics' 14 to start this game. And he steals it. Walker avoiding, no, rebound McCarty. Walker, that's what he did well. And the Celtics, what a start for them. Thanks in large part to Chauncey Billups. He might have some potential. Uh-oh, Ewing. Great play there by Charlie Ward. Oh, Antoine Walker in real life would have shot that. Mercer avoids. No. Oh, dang it. That was not a good shot. Rebound, Oakley. It was Billups, his first miss of the game. Ward for 3. Ward, no. Ewing, too much for Andrew DeClerc in there. The Celtics really lacked front court help on this team and back court help, really. I mean, Chauncey Billups was not the same player he was, or he turned into. Nope, off the mark there. Uh-oh, not good. Allen Houston, it's a 2-point game. Houston's first bucket is an open 3, and it goes down. Oh. DeClerc inside. Andrew DeClerc, a serviceable big man. Nothing spectacular about his game. Allen Houston, no. Rebound Walker. Oh, man. Come on, guys. Subs coming into the game as Dana Barros comes in along with a very young Bruce Bowen. Mercer on the steal. Here's Mercer. Oh, gosh. That is not what I wanted to do. Uh-oh, Larry Johnson. Before his back completely gave out on him. And here comes little Dana Barros. Walker to the rim. This is also before Walker got too heavy and settled a lot. He was still going to the rim and rebounding well at this point of his career. Always a good scorer. Never shot great percentages, but Barros. Bowen right at Larry Johnson and fouled him. Bruce Bowen, a notoriously awful free throw shooter. Bowen in his second year out of Cal State Fullerton, undrafted. Travis Knight and former number 1 overall pick Purvis Ellison in the game. D. Brown also in the game, but John Starks, what a weapon coming off the bench. Oh my gosh, who do I go to in this lineup? It's got to be the D. Brown Dana Barros show. Barros, who 1 year averaged 20 points a game. Barros all the way to the rim. The 5'11" Barros. Buck Williams is in the game for the Knicks in one of his final stops. This may have been his final year, actually. Former Net and Blazer. Chris Childs in the game out of Boise State. He had a long career in the NBA. Uh-oh. Starks for three. No. Rebound Travis Knight, who cashed in on a major payday. D. Brown for three. Brown, a known athlete early in his career, became a very, very good three-point shooter later in his career with the Celtics team, but more specifically with the Raptors, who he was traded to later in this year. John Starks. Uh-oh. Travis Knight, nobody there. Barros found him. Travis Knight, a legit 7-footer. Here's Starks working against Bowen. Childs. Into Chris Mills, who they acquired via trade. Barros tying him up. Mills against the much smaller D. Brown gets it to go. Chris Mills was acquired for multiple players from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I never really understood the trade. Chris Mills, a decent player, but not worth 4 players in the NBA. Knight. Barros. That's what he did. He was a terrific shooter for a little guy. It's not to say little guys can't shoot, but most of them under 6 feet aren't great shooters, and he was a great shooter. Starks. And Starks lighting it up. Taking advantage of D. Brown. Continuing to get it to go. Barros now with 4 assists. Childs, a minute left to play. Chris Dudley, the well-traveled veteran. Uh-oh. Childs got on the inside there, and Chris Childs knocks it down. This team had kind of a rotating point guard with Ward and Childs. D. Brown.